smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, I wonder and delight. Within this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed.
Hello, it's Hemp Works on the Time for Hemp Global International Fantastic Radio Station that goes around the globe. And tonight, my lovely guest yet again, 2 nights on the run, Dr. Beth Fisher. Oh my God, I do love this lady so much. And we might be having Sarah on, because last night, Dr. Beth, we picked up on this. Well, it's on. It's.
Say it, Steve. Just get it out there. Don't be shy. Go out there.
I'm just trying to.
Semen is an antidepressant. Okay, just say it. Semen is an antidepressant, and we're going to prove or disprove that over the next few weeks. But now my question is, if there's cannabis involved in that semen, which eventually all fluids, anything you're taking internally is going to come out externally. Are you getting a better dose? You know, and that we're going to find out, because we want to provide our listeners with facts, not fiction, but facts.
Yeah. And an interesting avenue that we're taking.
Well, it's Friday night. Come on.
Yeah.
Good evening, EU. You know, somebody is having sex in the EU and may want this information. Somebody may be having morning delight in Australia. You know,
well,
we don't know in Hawaii.
No. You've got to remember, I'm British, and the British don't actually have sex. Europeans do. Australians do.
Well, how do you populate? How do you populate if you don't have sex?
We don't talk about it. We're far too reserved to talk about things like sex. Oh, good grief, we're English.
Well. That is very true, but this is the Danks fish time, and in America we talk about sex, and if we're real lucky,
I mean, it's completely off the. I mean, we're not even allowed pornography in this country now. Whether pornography is good or bad is not really the debate, because every other European country has access to pornography, but not in England. Oh no.
Well, let's just see
what
we can do to present some good facts.
Well, I had a conversation with this guy from Holland once, which is very liberal, and I was trying to explain to him why we wasn't allowed to have pornography in England, and he just really couldn't get his head around it at all. And it's quite surprising. But anyway, let's move on from this, because I'm just getting bogged down in a conversation.
And we'll
anyway.
Yes, right. You sure are. I can see the blushing on your face, and usually
it's
me.
I'm not blushing.
But just, today I can hear it. Oh, you're not. Oh,
No, I'm quite an interesting person. But we do have very strange moments in England about our sex and sex life and what we can see and what we can't see, and it's very odd. Victorian, do you see? We still have the Queen Victoria. Anyway, what sort of week have you had then, Dr. Beth? What's your week been like?
Oh my God. My week has just been absolutely busy from beginning to end, and I breathe at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll breathe again at about 6, and the rest of the time it's come up for air and keep on going. Absolutely busy getting ready for Seattle and the move. But we should, if you really want to talk about the news in cannabis, we're ready to go.
Okay, well, news in Europe. I've had an interesting week. This week I've made contact. Been invited to the World Hemp Symposium in Slovenia. That's now in its about 15th year. Yeah. And it's a very big symposium. It used to be very, what we call in England, very stiff shirt, shiny shoes and ties. but it's become a lot more open of late. But nevertheless, if you need to know the science behind hemp cultivation more than the medical side, that is most probably the world's largest hemp conference. Yeah, I think it's being represented by many countries again there. Also, as well, I made contact today. I had a lovely conversation with a company in oh my God, up by, well, we've been talking to Romania, and we've been talking to Czechoslovakia, and then I can't remember the name of the country we were talking to today. It's right up by Finland. It's it comes to me in a minute. But yeah, again, I think what we're seeing is a resurgence now of the old European. I mean, some people call it Eastern European countries. That's the old Europe, yeah, before the division. And it's great to see them coming on board because they have such a big, long history of good quality hemp growing. Yeah. So
you mean countries like Latvia and Estonia and Lithuania?
That's the other one I was talking about. Latvia. All that band coming down. Latvia, Romania, Slovakia, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, all around there. The Ukraine. Historically were massive hemp growers, and they really were growing it quite extensively right up until not so long ago. Yeah, and
well, you think about why you would grow hemp that way. I mean, think about it. For centuries, Latvians would be inundated by conquerors, and they'd have to have something that could be grown quickly within 12 weeks for food.
Yeah,
and you can take seeds and run if somebody's burning down your village. And of course, Latvians are the best lovers in the whole world. So what can you say? It's got to be from the hemp.
Hold on a minute. That's a big statement. What scientific proof have you got for that then?
Well, we could talk about the DNA that they find from Attila the Hun and from other conquerors that are still being able to identify. And, there are other conquerors. Let's talk about Genghis Khan. They say that there's a large percentage of individuals right now that they'll run DNA tests with, and they're able to track it down to them. So, of course, Latvians and of those of Latvian heritage, of course, and the Danes, just for you, and the Danes. There you go.
Yeah, Alexander the Great. He came right through that big cut of country that is now sort of the Romanian, Russian, and going back into Turkey. He came through there. I mean, the Romanian people were really the children of Alexander the Great. Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't met any of them yet, so I can't give my judgment on that one. But it's good. It's all good, and as long as they support hemp, we just think that that's incredible because we know that hemp provides people with a protein. It provides people with fibers. It just provides. Let's just say it that way. It provides everything that one needs.
Yeah, it's on paper it does, and from my experience, my limited experience, which is quite vast, really, it does do all those things. Yeah? I mean, we really are back on this complete voyage of discovery. This is what I was talking to the Latvian people today. We know quite a lot, but really we don't know very much at all. And we are all on a voyage of discovery again together. And it's so interesting. Yeah, there's so much to do every day. The political agenda is changing. Every day the economic climate is changing. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side you look at it, it seems to be that our governments around the world are really collapsing, aren't they? Yeah. And only seems to be the way that
happening.
Yeah. They seem to be ruling with terror, which is always a bad sign. That means imminent collapse is there. If that's the only way they can rule us, then normally that means there's a bit of an uprising coming. No. But change has got to happen.
And when you speak about it, change is going to happen. Think about when Jack Russ comes on and tells us about what's going on in Australia. I mean, when I share that information about having men being forced to wear pink jumpsuits in prisons, I get the immediate response is, in Australia? Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that the home of where they first sent them from England? And shouldn't they be having more fun than the rest of us?
Yeah.
And when I explain it to them, they're just in shock.
Well, worse than that, Jack sent me over a bit this week that they've implemented this new law over there where if you're associated with a criminal, you can be arrested too. So, for instance, if me, you, and say Casper, for instance, we're sitting in a bar in Australia, I have convictions for cannabis, yeah? They could walk into the bar, they could arrest you for associating with me. And they've literally just done it. They've arrested in Queensland. They've actually arrested some people. Basically, they're saying it's to do with biker gangs, but the law is much more vast than that. And they've just done it. They've just arrested people. It's a bit like I don't know. You know, it was a bit like during the Second World War. People were arrested for mixing with Jewish people. It's same, surely.
Then what
I can't see the difference.
Same thing. Just as you said, Steve, when you get desperate, when they know that change is coming, that's when they use the bully pulpit and the bully pressure.
Yeah.
And the more that stand up and say, no, I mean, how many people can they take away? Steve, talk about for a second about what you have going on over there that you started about those who grow. Can you go over that a little bit for us again?
In which way? Sorry.
The 100 growers that you have, the people that actually grow, that you're making this list of individuals who grow, grow cannabis for medicinal.
Right. What that boils down to, is we're trying to compile a list of 100 patients at a time, people that have medical notes, were really turned away by the PLC medical industry as no hopers and sent home to die, painfully and slowly. And they have used cannabis to heal themselves. So that's somebody like myself. I can mention Sarah's name because Sarah is public about this as well. Our list is growing. So if you're a medical cannabis user and have got medical notes and you were sent home to do your last bit, we want 100. And then what we're going to do, once there's 100 of them, and we're not going to give that data out, we're going to go up to Westminster and we're going to basically hand ourselves in, because under UK law, we're criminals for using this medicine. And of course, if we was growing it, which, we can't, the only way to have medical cannabis in the UK really is to grow it yourself, because the quality and the expense of trying to get it off the black market is too much. If you buy it from the only licensed dealer, GW Pharmaceuticals, it's astronomical, the cost of it, which I couldn't afford. My medical bill would be nearly £1,000 a day, buying my medicine from them. So the only way to do it is grow your own. So we're going to go to Westminster and we're going to hand ourselves in and say, look, we are criminals. What are you going to do with us? Because this is ridiculous. We're actually sick people, but you're making us live in, not only have we got to cope with our problems, our medical problems, but we're also basically living in fear of having our doors kicked down and being arrested for using the plant medicine. We're not dealing it, we're not giving it away, heaven forbid, we just want to get on and cure ourselves and stay alive and stay healthy. So we're going to put ourselves in basically ask for mercy at Westminster, and see what they come up with. And if they tell us that we're criminals, we go round to the local police station and we hand ourselves in and let them arrest us as a 100, because at the moment it's pointless them picking us off one by one. We just turn up and say,
do it right, or
do
it or go home. Fish or cut bait.
Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to be radicals. We're not trying to be, we're not trying to be the news media or something like. We just want justice. We want equal rights. That's what we want. As Peter Tosh said, we want equal rights to be able to use the medicine that we know works for us without the fear of persecution. So again, anybody that's listening in the UK, get hold of the charity, talk to one of the people there. As I say, we're not trying to break the law. We just want justice, because we can't carry on like this. It's ludicrous. It's stupid. And we save the taxpayers
or
some money.
That's right. That's right. Or GW, start giving your medicine away for free.
Well,
not that your medicine's any good, but we want home cultivation. But if GW, if you're not for profit, if you really do want to help people, then give it for free. Give it.
Yeah, because there is a lot of people that would benefit. I'm just unlucky that I wouldn't actually benefit from the medicine they have. And they also I've seen today now that the FDA has fast-tracked this new this Epidex medicine they have, which is specifically targeted at the epilepsy and brain tumor stuff for children. Yeah. Also, apparently, it's got some cancer benefits as well. So but again, they want a lot of money for it. So a lot of parents wouldn't even be able to afford it because it's so expensive. Our national health system can't pay for it. They've said it's too much of an expensive medicine. So again, you'd have to be fairly rich, and you have to get a private doctor's note to be able to go and get it. So again, all for profit and all for fun, but do the right thing, guys. I mean, Stanley Brothers give a lot of those away, and they look like they're living a pretty good lifestyle. I think their bank balance is all right. They don't. I'm not saying they're the wealthy. They ain't got private jets and all that, but every time I see a video of them, they all look nice and clean and well fed and happy, and they don't look poor, and they can afford to give their medicine away. So, how comes GW Pharmaceuticals can't, or at least make it an affordable price? Yeah. So them that need it,
or allow home cultivation.
Or allow home cultivation.
Allow home cultivation.
Ain't that hard, is it?
And no, it's really not hard. But
growing a few plants, there's a lot worse going on in the world, isn't there? Hey.
That's right. Yeah. And Steve, think about it for just a second. There's a whole realm of individuals that can't afford GW Pharmaceuticals that could be considered out of time and not going to make it. But with home cultivation, what do you care? Because GW is not going to make money from them anyway. So let them grow. Yeah. Let the greed stop and let them grow. Now, where you're doing your patients and going through and saying we are home cultivators in Washington this week, medical marijuana advocates are turning up the heat on House lawmakers who last week voted against an amendment to block the DEA from cracking down on state legal medical cannabis shops and patients. So what was going on there is the appropriations measure prohibiting the DEA from spending funds was sponsored by Representatives Dana Rohrabacher out of California, Republican, and Sam Farr, Democrat out of California. Still passed at 219 to 189, but we don't know yet what's going to happen, but we really want to know that we want to keep reading up on this and keep this right in the loop, and we'll keep our listeners informed on this one. So, we really just have to understand, and the DEA has to understand they're patients. They're not criminals, and those that provide medicine for patients are also not criminals. They are people who are dedicated their entire lives to making sure that patients have what they need. Yeah. Comment, Steve?
Again, it's just so... it's politics. It's politics and politics and politics and politics. How much politics do they want? We're dealing with sick people here. Yeah? And we're dealing with our kids. We're dealing with our old people. We're dealing with sick people. And we shouldn't have to go through all these silly hoops. Look, everybody's... I think I saw 87% of Americans are up for legalisation. Wherever you go, it's these vast numbers now. It's not just the 50% and more. It's like really, remember we had that show we done from Alaska, and that guy said about 97% of one particular town or village was up for legalisation. 97%! That's not everybody, isn't it? And they're still trying to make laws.
Really? And those that vote, that's...
Yes, and they're trying to make laws to protect us. Well, they're not protecting us. They're doing us more damage.
Yeah. Well, they're what I do believe they're trying to do is do a shuck and jive. In other words, I'm going to tell you one thing and I'm going to let you go for it, but I'm going to block you at each step of the way. And you're going to see that in those punitive MMJ states. And I've written about it before. We're talking Michigan, we're talking New Jersey, and now we're going to have the benefit of also having Minnesota be a punitive MMJ state where yes, the laws are on the books, but you think you're going to get any medicine? So, you just have to wonder. And let's just talk base about the DEA and what the DEA has done in Massachusetts. This just has come in that they've visited the homes and offices of Massachusetts physicians involved with medical cannabis dispensaries and delivered an ultimatum. They said sever all ties to cannabis companies or relinquish your federal license to prescribe certain medications. And this comes from several physicians and their attorneys that had the DEA come into their homes. And the DEA's contended that the doctors were told this because of friction between federal law, which bans the use of cannabis, and state law, which voters changed in Massachusetts to 212 to allow the medical use of the drug. So the DEA, we're talking about this bullying tactics, knowing it's the end. DEA, it's at the end. Give it up. Get a new job and go do something else. In fact, don't do anything else. Go retire. Because you're not needed and you really aren't wanted. That's really going into physicians' homes and offices. Come on now. I mean, this is just insane. What do you think you're going to get? And yet, if these doctors were prescribing straight pharmaceuticals all day long, the DEA wouldn't even be bothering with them. It's amazing. That whole department, we talked about this yesterday, that whole department needs to be collapsed, removed, taken off, and no transfers into any other department because they just don't play by the rules. They think they can go above board. They can bring drugs into the country from Mexico, work with the cartels, do what they want to do, and reimburse LEOs at up to 80% for everything that the LEOs take from patients and those who use recreational cannabis, and they get 80% back of the dollars that the DEA sends to them. So, come on, you're bullies, DEA. You don't play by the rules. You're not looking out for patients. You're only looking out to propagate your own department. And to the administration, once again, I say, and I say this calmly, if I had somebody that was working for me who was really working against my policies, I would not have them work for me any longer. And that's all I got to say on that one.
Again, with this, look, I don't know what you have to do to be a DEA agent, but I should imagine you have to go to college.
Sell your soul?
Well, yeah, all right. Right. Let's just try and keep it on a more... Right, they obviously have to go to school. They have to go to college. They have to learn to read and write. So, basically, they should have some form of intelligence, yeah, to get that particular job. Yeah. Now, it's not rocket science to sit down and read some of the reports that are coming out these days. Just make your own mind up. I mean, they can't be that stupid, surely, to hold... I mean, Eric Holden, for crying out loud, is it Eric Holden that's in charge of the department these days? You're meant to be intelligent, man, but you're making yourself look like a monkey. Because I know kids that understand this plant better than what you do.
Yes, and it's out there. It's not hidden. That's right. It's not hidden knowledge. Okay. Steve. When we come back, Steve, when we come back, go ahead. We'll find out what agents are. Thank you.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, Call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away at Hotbox Jamaica. Chill, relax, burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special, 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. A Haya meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
It's medicinal, it's pure, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis.
We love Tony Macaroni because he plays the best song. So, right, well, we was off there.
That's
Dr.
right.
Beth went online and found out what you needed to become a DEA agent. What do you need to become a DEA agent? Do you need to be a monkey?
No, but I went to the site, the DOJ site, and so, Eric, we got to talk about this one. You have to be over 21 and younger than 36. It says a U.S. citizen. You'll be able to relocate anywhere. You've got to have great hearing, great vision. And you have to, it says, now here's interesting. It says you must possess a bachelor's degree with a GPA of 2.95 or higher, a master's or LLB or JD degree. Or, now here's where it gets interesting,
Can I stop you there?
listeners.
Hold on, please.
You sure can.
Can you tell us in the UK what's a bachelor's? Is that a good degree or is that just something you pick up from school?
Well, the master's and the JD, that's a law degree.
That's a law
But
degree.
the bachelor's bachelor's could be an art degree, an English literature degree, a technical degree, even an education degree.
So in other words,
So,
you've got
but
to be
what's
fairly well educated, yeah?
well, now here's the juxtapose on this one. Or there's a big or, bigger than the and. Or you have to possess specialized experience conducting narcotics, drug-related investigations. Or you have to possess 3 years or more of substantive work experience and special skills as a pilot, accountant, in languages, and a bachelor's and or higher. So they're saying you've got to have it. You've got to have your degrees, or you got to have your work experience, or if we believe that you have the specialized experience conducting narcotics, drug-related investigations, well, then welcome aboard. And
Where's
to
the
me,
small
that's
print
like,
where it
well,
says-
what did you
hold on.
possess before? Yeah,
They
small
missed a
print.
bit.
Oh gosh, there's probably else.
You
Yeah,
missed a bit.
they
You have to
did
be a
miss.
complete.
Yes, they.
You have to be a complete and utter liar. You have to be a professional liar. You do. I've been arrested by the DEA. They totally lied. Completely and utterly
Yes.
lied.
And
They fabricated everything.
yes. How do you how do you sleep at night? Really, and knowing that the rest of humanity is looking at you and going, you are to be representing people who are taking care of countries. Our U.S., and here you are doing dirty deeds against U.S. citizens. You're abhorred when you know that hemp.
Dr. Beth, I'm sorry.
Hemp was the material for the flag.
Dr. Beth, I've got to stop you there. It's not just against US citizens. They do it against around the world, mate. I'm not a US citizen and I was arrested in Italy. Yeah, so it's got nothing to do with America down there. And that was the DEA that got me. They work in all places. Believe you me, I've been around the world. I've seen where they go. Yeah, wherever they can earn a buck,
they're not very nice.
They're not nice. No,
they're not nice. They really are. And we look at these governmental groups throughout history who've had this absolute power, and it really hasn't turned out well for the country, for the world, and for them in the end. And we think about those massive changes. We think about changes in the 1940s and what happened there and the trials that happened after those events. So, you really have to consider what's that. All right, enough about the DEA. I don't want to give them any more time. Let's talk about the future. Oh, that's very Elizabethan, isn't it, darling? That's just very prim and proper. Does that mean we can go back to swallowing semen again?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think the DEA's been swallowing it, but I think they've been sticking it up where the light don't shine. Anyway, yeah, come on, let's move on. Let's get away from them.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Fawn. Let's talk about the newest sponsor that we have on Time for Hemp program, which is hotboxjamaica.com. Oh my word, Steve. I had no business surfing the web last night. None. And I can tell you that I was on hotboxjamaica.com for about an hour, reading every single page they had. I was eating it up like a fresh, ripe mango. It was perfect. Not only is there wonderful accommodations that are so affordable, $60 for a 2-bedroom place a night. Oh my heavens! You can't do that
with food and ganja.
90% and food and ganja and tours. You're going to go to beaches. You're going to go to farms. You're going to be looking at waterfalls. I mean, an incredible experience where it's open and it's kind and loving people. So it makes your vacations or your retreats or even your weddings, Steve. Yeah. Even you can do weddings down there. It'll make it memorable. Yeah. So if you haven't, listeners, if you have not gone to hotboxjamaica.com, take it from Dr. Beth. You better allocate a lot of time checking out this site. This isn't one you can look at and keep going. You're going to get drawn into this site and you're going to get drawn into the vacations. And I really believe that we need to all get together and go down there as a Time for Hemp /Hemp Works group and go down and just take it over and relax and enjoy. What do you think, Steve?
I'm there, mate. Honestly, when I spoke to the lady the other night, and by the way, she's coming on for a whole show next week with me.
Woo!
So, yeah, we're really going to get the lowdown on this. It looks fantastic. I mean, I really kept looking around my room for things to sell. Why should I set it all up and just go and move over there? Because I can live over there as cheap as I can live here. And I've got to tell you as well, in the UK, we have a very, very big Jamaican community that's been here since at least the 50s and 60s. And I'll tell you what, they are really nice people, actually, Jamaicans. I've always got on well with them. Yeah, they're all right. The food's nice. They're nice people. Yeah, you got a few wrong bloods, but you get that in every culture. don't concentrate on the bad apples in the barrel, because 90%, 99% of Jamaican people, I've had great Jamaican friends. I love Jamaican culture. I mean, look, come on, Bob Marley. Who don't like Bob Marley? Huh?
That's right.
That's the home
And
of
in the
Bob.
tours, they have a 9-mile tour to. That's
They
right.
do.
It is the home of Bob. And on these tours that they give at Hotbox Jamaica listeners, you will go see his birthplace. It's right there in the tours. It's right there on the page. So if you love that if you just love that, go and check out that site. It is all there. I was literally there for over an hour. Now, speaking of Jamaica, may we go ahead and touch base a little bit? We talked about it yesterday, about the Jamaican study of pregnant mothers shows that cannabis does not harm newborns. May we go ahead and touch base on that?
Yeah, absolutely. From the study that I saw, it wasn't so much about, it was, they have certain tests they do to babies, through, when they're born.
The Brazelton test.
That, you see, you're a doctor, you know it. So they applied these tests to these families or mothers that had children, and one group of mothers was smoking ganja, which they it's quite normal in Jamaica, and another group of mothers didn't, and they literally came out that the kids all passed those tests a lot better, and they felt that the social settings for the children seemed to be better in the homes of the mothers that smoke Jamaica. Yeah, well, that's what they do. They smoke Jamaica.
Smoked ganja. For those, that's right. This is a very interesting study, because if you go back, it goes back to the late 1960s, and the doctor involved at the time was a grad student, Melanie Dreher, and she is now a professor. And a lot of things happened during that time. Now, first off, women in Jamaica typically use tea or tonic to relieve the nausea within that first trimester when you're having morning sickness. And Dreher was chosen to perform a long-term, it's called an ethnographic study. In other words, you're there, you take notes, you observe, you listen, and you collect this body of knowledge. She studied 24 Jamaican infants exposed to marijuana prenatally and through their mothers through tea or tonic, and 20 infants not exposed. Now, we can talk about the things that you talked about were the benefits of their early age, the developmental scales. She used the Brazelton scale after Dr. Brazelton that says how you are at the developmental stage, and they continued that from birth up to 5 years. The results showed no negative impact on the children, and in fact, they seemed to excel. Now, take a breath. What happened after that? The National Institute of Drug Abuse didn't want to fund it, stopped the funding, essentially said, we're not going to release these results. Don't even bother to ask for an extension or renewal. We're not going to give it to you. And that's what they said. So essentially, the National Institute of Drug Abuse wanted a study that said that mothers who ingest cannabis, their children will have depressed Brazelton scores. In other words, cannabis is detrimental to mothers, and it's not. It was shown not. But the National Institute didn't want to fund it. And the March of Dimes, she writes, they were supportive, but it was clear that the NIDA, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, wasn't interested on a study, to fund a study that didn't produce negative results. And she was told, don't submit, don't even do anything, forget it. Well, now she's Dean of Nursing at Rush University. She would be wonderful to have on. And she is now an cannabis advocate, and it's still shaking her head that it's not the same. It's not the first time that there's been the National Institute of Drug Abuse has given money for a negative study. So we have to really take a look at these studies that are coming on and know that they've been done for a very long time. Come on, 1960s to 1980s. We're talking decades that these studies were suppressed and not brought forth. And especially think about it, they didn't come up in the 70s. You had a 10-year-old study that said cannabis was good for developmental skills for infants, but it wouldn't have come clear when President Nixon went ahead and did his war on drugs. That stopped the whole thing and suppressed it. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Dr. Beth, we've got to pay some advertising. We got to listen to
let's talk.
are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP cardholder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor. So come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away at Hotbox Jamaica. Chill, relax, burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special, 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. A Haya meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Weed, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed.
Lovely. Oh, I love that. So, well done, Tony. I hope the sun is shining on you this evening. Right, waste no time because it's our Friday.
right.
So
Tony,
we're into the last break. I want to give my shout outs. One is obviously to the Hemp Works charity, uk.org. We need your support. And secondly, I've got a guest coming on next week called Sue Rosen. She's a medical cannabis nurse from New York. She's got an absolutely amazing CV. I've tried to get her on the show 4 times before, and each time it's broken down. And then last night or the night before, we realised why. I'm an ex-hepatitis patient, and I'm clear now, and Sue Rosen is also ex-hepatitis C, and she cured herself naturally. So between the 2 of us next week, we're going to have a really big hepatitis C and cannabis show, which is really important for all the hep C people out there, which is that horrible baby boomers disease, which is really starting to take bite now. So tune in for that one, folks, because that's a thing that's very close to my heart. And obviously now I've got a very clever professional in New York that's going to come on and talk about her side of it too. Fantastic. So that's my 2 shout-outs. And for you, Dr. Beth?
Thank you, Steve. I also want to say that Sue Rosen is in one of our LinkedIn groups, and I want to do the shout out for them, Women of Cannabis and Hemp. She is one of our contributors, and we're very, very happy to know that she's going to be on board. My shout out normally is to this beautiful lake I'm looking at called Wetmore Lake, and my shout out is as soon as work is done for the day, I'm out either paddleboarding or kayaking right out there. So I see you, lake, and you are mine in a matter of hours. There you go. Okay, Steve, can I please give our listeners the update on the J.R. Liggett's Old Fashioned Shampoo with tea tree and hemp oil? Ready? Listeners, I've been talking, this is my 3rd week of going in and using this and using the shampoo for almost everything. I mean, if I'm going to go ahead and say that something is wonderful, I've got to test it, and I've got to test it over a period of time. But this is the 3rd week I've been using it for absolutely everything. Here's what happened. My hair has been shinier. It's smoother. It started at the top where the roots were, and it's really coming down very nice. And yes, my ends were a little fluffed up and a little dry at the end, but that's to be expected. I faithfully get a haircut and treatments every 6 to 8 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen who use color, I use color, and I'm not ashamed to tell you that. But today I had my hair colored because I wanted everything ready to go before I left for Seattle. The stylist, I handed her the bar of soap. It's not very big anymore, I'm going to tell you that. And I know that they're sending at least one more bar. She used it today. She said, she looked at my hair before she started. She said, "You have not faded one bit," which is wonderful, which means the color did not fade. She said that after she colored it, she said that it had grabbed the color, and it was easy to wash. It hydrated well. It rinsed easy, and it was better hair than I had the last time I came in. And once again, listeners, I am faithful to getting my hair done. I don't do anything else. I'm all natural, except not with my hair. So what I want to know, Steve, is why did the color in my hair not fade when I used J.R. Liggett's Old Fashioned Shampoo with tea tree and hemp oil? Take it away, Steve.
First of all, for people that don't know Dr. Beth, she has a really beautiful mane of hair, right? It's beautiful. It's long, it's thick. And now, by using, I'm a professional hemp shampoo maker, so I haven't tested Dr. Liggett's shampoo, but I know automatically from talking to him and looking at his ingredients and from the reports that I'm getting back from Dr. Beth, he has made a top quality hemp shampoo bar there. Because when you make a good quality hemp shampoo, there's certain things you look for, which are some of the things that Dr. Beth has just described. And the colour one, that's quite easy. It's because most modern day shampoos are chemical based, and the chemicals wash the colour out of your hair. When you're using completely natural shampoos, then the colour doesn't get washed out. And also because it's very high in beta carotene and omega-3, that is basically the building block of your hair. So you truly, truly are feeding it. Yeah, and I will advise anybody that's using that shampoo, when you wash it, if you can just let the oil sink in for 5-10 minutes, even 15 or 20, before you wash it back out again, you will really see the added benefit from it. And it works very quickly, doesn't it, Dr. Beth? After the first few applications, I bet people are actually saying to you, what have you done to your hair? Oh, your hair looks nice. Yeah? People start noticing. Yes, there is such a change in it. It's so pronounced that other people actually notice it. So we would like him to come on board and get the rest of the world to be able to buy his wonderful shampoo bar. We need you as a sponsor.
Yes, absolutely.
Not so much because we need you as a sponsor. The world needs your shampoo. And how are they going to find it? They need to be on Time for Hemp so that everybody gets access to it.
That's right. And EU needs it. UK needs it. Australia needs it. This is a perfect bar. It takes up no space at all. If you take a look at the picture of their soap, just Google it in, J.R. Liggett's Old Fashioned Shampoo. Just put that in, that you'll see that this is just a baby bar, and it lasts forever. And I've used it for everything, Steve, even washing my undies when I'm traveling.
Absolutely. Soap is soap. And if it's good for your hair, it's good for everything else. Also, I might like to point out as well, is obviously with airports these days, you're only allowed to take very small amounts of bottling stuff through. This being a bar, that doesn't apply. So you don't have to get your shampoo taken off you at the customs or check-in because it's in the wrong bottle. Secondly, a bar is a very easy thing. You ain't got to worry about breakages or glass or any stuff like that. Yeah. So it is a very, very practical thing to have in your life. A good quality bar of soap that can wash everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, listeners, if you are going to pick up this bar, make sure you let Jim know, Mr. Liggett know, that you tell him that Hemp Works, Time for Hemp Works, we sent you. And then you also make sure that you get the drying bag that you just slip in and you can carry with you, because I know I'll receive mine in a few days, but I'm operating of a drying rack for soap, the old-fashioned kind, in a container that's open most of the time. And if I have to close it, I have holes on the top. But that bar it's got to dry out or you're going to end up with mush. Steve, why is that?
Oh, that's because natural soap, that's what it does. Natural soap has to be dried for a minimum to 6 to 7 weeks. That's just the way it operates, yeah? Unless you dry it every time, it will go down to that. But again, when you get the mush, you can put all the mush together and re-dry it, and you got another block of soap. Yeah, or use that bit of mush and put that in your washing machine to wash your clothes in. Yeah, you don't have to throw it away.
Oh my
It's still
gosh.
good quality soap. Sorry, there was another sales picture on that, and I forgot what it was now. Oh yeah, again, one of the reasons that soap become unpopular is because of the bacterial that sits on modern day soaps. Because hemp is automatically antibacterial, you'll find that even if you do leave it out, it doesn't have that bacteria on it. And we know that because I do have a soap maker in England that got it tested, and the people that tested were just like, they retested it 3 times because they couldn't believe the results. It is totally antibacterial.
That's incredible. I love the bar. I love the bar. And when you think about it, I'm walking into some place that's supposed to know about hair and know about shampoo and know about cleaning. And I carry this little bar and say, Terry, please wash my hair with this. She didn't hesitate. She looked at it and she loved it. She really, really did. So I told her where to get it. It's once again, go ahead.
Going back to the technician, they're not having to use chemicals on their hands, because if they're using chemicals 10, 20 times a day, 60% passes through their skin. So they need to be using natural shampoos, or they're going to have to keep wearing gloves. And there's something about the touch and the head and the massaging of the head when you're washing soap in, which is it's an automatic massage, isn't it? You don't want to do that through plastic gloves. But if you're using natural soap, you can do that. Yeah. So it really has other benefits. Steve. Besides it being very practical, there's a lot of other reasons behind. And again, when it goes back into the ecosystem, it doesn't destroy the ecosystem. It feeds the ecosystem. Yeah, it's just win, 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 win all the time. This is what you find when you use hemp and cannabis. It's always a win, win, win situation. Everybody benefits, except for the politicians.
Then politicians quit being greedy, because I'm going to tell you now, the cannabis candidate is coming. And when the cannabis candidate comes, it's going to change everything. Think about it, Steve. What prevents you right now from running for office?
No, you got to do that again. It's not one of them chicken stories. When the cannabis candidate, I can't do it. You do it.
Oh, you're back on the semen thing. I know.
I'm sorry. You got me. When the cannabis candidate,
I bring out the best in you, don't I?
That's like the chicken song. I'm not the chicken plucker. I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker. Son.
Let's ask Tony to write a song on that one. Okay, he's done such a good job. What is the next step for Tony and the songs? Did I hear you say that there was going to be a video with him on singing the cannabis song?
New song and a video. Yeah, he'll get around to it, and when he does, it'll be a delight for everyone. Also, as well, while we're on the subject of sponsors, lovely young lady Emily contacted me. She's not been very well. I wonder where she got to. And her food bar, the Modo bar, which is great. And
Mondo bars are incredible.
Big goof there. Mondo. It's Mondo bars. Yeah, well, it was nice to hear from Emily anyway. And hopefully we get the Mondo bars up and running as a sponsor. That would be nice too, because they're fabulous bars. So you've got nutrition, soap. It's like a travel bag. Yeah. That's it. We're done.
Wonderful. I think Casper's helping us out. Listeners, we'll see you Monday, and I'll see you Friday.
See you later, alligators. Have a great weekend.